Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Welcome to a summer fun hour. We have the CraftStash summer sale today, so you are able to get an amazing up to 65% off of products. We're going to be covering quite a few of those, and I'm not on my own. We've got the lovely Sasha Reade with me as well from the design team. We're going to be running you through lots of fun techniques that are all to do with your summer themes, so stay tuned for those. But why summer? People are starting to get into the Christmas word now, because of course summer is still here. We still have summer birthdays, summer weddings, summer anniversaries, summer births as well to celebrate and to craft for. So what better time than when the sun is shining? Hopefully it's shining for you as well, because it's absolutely beautiful today and has been this week. I probably don't need this on indoors, but I'm going to keep it on just for now anyway. I've got my friend Steve with me as well. Steve Shark. He's going to be telling you about lots of offers. No, it's not really. That'd be amazing though, wouldn't it, if I could get a talking shark in here. But we do have the biggest shout is an amazing giveaway first of all. So our giveaways today, I know lots of you tune in just to see those, to hear those. We are giving away on this show during this hour two £50 gift card, let's say gift cards, vouchers, codes to use over at CraftStash on whatever you like. We will be announcing the names of those, and if you're interested in winning those, all you need to do is be commenting whether you're watching on Facebook or whether you're watching over on YouTube. I will be going over to both and saying hello to a few of you in just a moment, and then there will be a third chance to win another £50 voucher, and I'll give you the details of that at the end. But please do comment, please do let me know what your favourite summer techniques are, because we're going to be spending lots of time on working with those. I'm going to go over to Sasha in just a moment and have a chat with her, but like I say, we are focusing on the summer sale, so have a look at craftstash.co.uk. Over on there you are going to see some amazing deals. We've split things up into categories for you on the website. Simply scroll through those banners at the top. We have got a 40% off of summer stamping fun. That's a lot of Daisy May in there. I love Daisy May. I'll be showing you some of her products included in that sale in a little while. So 40% off that, you need to use the code HOT40, but many of the items are already reduced. So I think that's the only code you need to remember. So shall we go over? I'm going to get annoyed with this hat, I think. Shall we just go over and say a quick hello to Sasha, and then I will read some of your comments and your hellos that are on Facebook and YouTube. So Sasha, how are you? That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, great. Enjoying the fact that we finally have warm weather. It's so nice because it's been a long winter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's wonderful. Now we are looking, of course, at the moment, this time of year in craft, we usually start looking at Christmas. But we thought, do you know what? Before we get anywhere near Christmas, we've still got these wonderful, warm summer months coming. We need to celebrate summer, don't we? What are you going to be showing us today?
So I'm going to do two different techniques. I'm going to start with one which is going to be a shaker card. However, not the traditional shaker card. So I'm going to be doing a sort of liquid shaker card, but we're using gel. So if you've got any hair gel, this was £1 at the shop. So just the cheapest possible one is good. So I'm going to show you some shaker cards with hair gel, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks with Vellum, and do a shaker card with Vellum.
Lovely. I cannot wait for those. So vellum and cello bags, we've picked those from you, Sasha, and we have made sure they are at amazing values on the website. So it doesn't matter what size you go for either, does it, with the cello bags?
No, you can adapt it, and I'll show you, because mine's too big for what I'm using, but you can see how you can still use it.
Amazing. Fantastic. Thank you. So what I'll do is I will come and tell everybody about some offers and read some comments, and then we'll come back to you. Hopefully if you just switch your camera around, and we'll get ready to craft as soon as possible. Thanks, Sasha. Let me just switch back to myself. So yes, I love that I've got company in the studio today. He's great, isn't he? I might get him down for a little cuddle before we finish the show. Let's say hello to a few of you. Thank you for joining us all. I hope the weather's as beautiful as it is where you are, as it is here. So let's go back. Yeah, this hat, I can see a few comments about my hat flicking through. It's not going to be staying on forever, I promise you. Rena said she's excited and she loves the theme. And good morning to everybody. Lynn Clifton says says hello. Kathy Saltmarsh, hello to you as well. And Melanie Weeks and Sarah King. Cheryl Thomas as well. Samantha Nye. We've got loads of you. Loads and loads. Hello to Marta, obviously on the design team, along with Sasha. She said hello to us too. Yeah, hi. There's loads. Yeah, love the shark. Marie said she loves the shark. I've borrowed him from my son's bedroom. Do you think he'll mind? I'll pop him back as soon as we've finished. He's just having a little trip out to the seaside studio. Lovely. I am going to read these as Sasha's demonstrating. I'm going to do some techniques as well for you. But we are focusing on the summer sale. So as I said, there's up to 65% off of items on the website. The easiest way to see all the discounted items is to click on the banners on the website at the top of the page. So like I say, there is 40% off of summer stamping fun. That's lots of Daisy made products. I will show you some of those because we've got the theme that is we had the beautiful what do we call it? We've got the beach theme, so the beach huts and things like that, the ice cream, the caravan, all of those include, and then we've also got the village green included there as well, lots of other items. We have got also, and you don't need a code for this, 10% off of MDF shapes. Okay, I'm going to be doing a technique with MDF. That's probably going to be the second demonstration after Sasha's shown us her gel shaker card. So this is all working around getting those summer themes into your crafting using lots of techniques. So we're not saying to you we're going to be focusing on one collection. We're going to be looking completely site-wide at everything at CraftStash and how we can use it for our summer themes. Now we've also got, what else have I got to tell you about? Oh yeah, just very quickly, and I will hit on this a little bit later as well, but I need to tell you, if you are popping items into your basket today and you're spending more than £35, you're going to get the opportunity to also put into your basket a stationery box worth $14.99, and we have the travel and adventure one, so that fits absolutely perfectly with this summer theme. So make sure you do that. That will come up at checkout for you, so all you need to do is tick that box to add that to your basket completely for free. So don't forget to comment, everybody. I'll pop over to YouTube in a minute as well, and I will make sure that I'm commenting and replying to people over there. But in the meantime, shall we come and see Sasha and see what amazing summary technique she's got for us for the first demonstration. Sasha, it's all yours. Take it away.
Right, so I'm going to start with a fun summary card, and I've got this Daisy May paper pad, and I apologize because I have no idea if it's in stock or not, but I like it because it's got quite fun, bright pastel colors, and they're a nice little neutral background, which works well.
Lovely.
It can save you a lot of time instead of having to design your own paper or design your own background. If you've got pattern paper that's got a nice neutral background, that will work really nice. So I'm using that. I've also got these letters. Now this is just a box I've got in my stash, and I've just kind of cut up the packaging and put it in here because I find this easier, but I have no idea again if these are in stock or not, but these are the letters from Sam's collection, and they're the chunky alphabet die set, and that's what I'm using today for my letters.
Great.
Just to put through. Now you can use whatever you've got in your stash. So if you've got some, let's say you've got some flowers, something like this, where you've got floral elements or any kind of shape, is what you can use. I'm going to use words today because I haven't done words, I don't know if ever, but I thought it would be fun to spell out fun times. So I've just got this mat here, and the only reason I'm using it is because it's got a grid on the top, and I've not gunked it up and mucked it up in my craft room, so it's still nice and pretty, and I can see all the numbers. And all I'm going to do is just use the grid line to line up my letters and make sure that they're nice and even and pretty to the eye, because if I wing it, it doesn't work. It always goes wrong. I've got this tape here, which is basically like sellotape, but this is the Crafter's Companion low tack tape. However, I find it's very sticky, so I think CraftStash sells it. It's not big enough, but I find it really sticky, so I wouldn't use it as a low tack tape, but it works brilliant for things like this.
Okay.
So I'm just going to take my letters together and give them a rub down. Oh, this is what I knew. I forgot something. I went into my office to look for it, and then I came out without it, so I have no idea where I put it. What you want to do is, if you've got an anti-static powder bag, you want to just dab that on the back of here, because that will take off some of the stick, because it is very, very, very sticky.
Okay.
So I'm just going to shove it on my trousers and try and use off of my trousers to kind of unstick it a little bit, because otherwise it will rip my cardstock.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure it's not going to do that.
We've all done that. We've all been there.
Yep. There's my one thing we discussed earlier. That's my one thing I've forgotten, I think.
What?
So I'm going to line up times, and I'm going to tape those as well.
Okay.
And all I'm doing, lining these up so that I can die cut the words out of my card. I want to have the what is it called? I'm not having the direct cut as they're intended.
So the negative.
The negative. There we go. That's the word. So I'm going to stick that down. Again, it's nice and sticky, so it'll hold those really well and they won't come apart. I'm just going to quickly rub the tape on my trousers, which you can't
As
see,
you do.
But often you can pick up fluff from your trousers, which kind of makes it not so sticky.
Yep, Terry Kelly has said she agrees it's very tacky, so she always uses the trouser trick herself.
Yes, so it works well. But I like this tape for holding my letters because it doesn't kind of pop off, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so now that we've got that, I've gone ahead and cut all my panels out. So I'll give you those measurements now. My writing's horrendous, but you can see that there. So I'm going to do my top panel, which is this one here, which is what we're going to die cut out of. It's going to be 5.5 by 3 3/4.
Okay.
Then I'm going to have my layer, which is this one here, is going to go behind it, and it's just 1/4 of an inch smaller, or bigger, sorry. So it's 5 3/4 by 4 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got my card base, which when we folded it, ends up being 6 by 4 1/4, and that will give 1/4 of an inch all around. So
Lovely.
It goes like that. Now this panel here is what I'm going to put behind my letters so that it kind of matches in with that foil card that's under there.
Right.
So the letters get cut out of here, and that foil card is going to pop under. And this little piece of foil, I try and keep as small as possible because we need room to be able to build it up and put foam around the outside. So
Right.
This one is 4 3/4 by 3 inches. If you lose those measurements, then pop a comment down below and tag my name, and then I will try my best to come in and tell you them again.
Okay, thank you.
Is this low tack tape, which is just post-it note tape on a roll essentially. It's just what I've got in my stash. And that's what I'm going to use to adhere my letters onto the front.
Okay.
I pre-measured how much I would want for this panel. So I always base it on the dies I'm using. And then I measure out what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to pop some of that on there so I can run it through my Big Shot. Now I'm hoping and praying it's not going to stick and rip my paper too much because I didn't have my little baggie with me.
We're all crossing fingers for you.
Right. I'm bringing the Big Shot. It might get a little bit bumpy.
Okay.
So I'm just going to run that through. You only need to go once. It'll cut nicely through the paper. But again, I'm using that decorative paper because it saves time. We didn't have to make a background on our paper. We can just use what we've got in our stash.
Perfect.
So I'll get that out. This is where we need to cross our fingers and hope for the best.
I'm sure.
So pull that low tack off.
I'm sure it'll be fine. We're crossing everything. I'll read out some comments while you're just releasing that. Sandra over on YouTube has said, "Hi Sasha, I totally love the measurements." She apologised she arrived late, so that's fine, Sandra. We know what it's like. We've got Fiona said she's often done that. She's had her trousers with paint, ink, sticky stuff and glue all over, so they're her crafty trousers.
Right, so I've gone and cut that out, so you can see, there we go. It's fun times, which is good.
Perfect.
And move that. I've just remembered I forgot my thin tape, so we'll make do with what we've got. I've pre-made a sequins mix, so I've just went through all my sequins and pulled out sort of pinks, purples, clears, silvers.
Nice.
And just made a little sequin mix in a jar for myself, ready to go. What we're going to do is take that bottom panel. This is the shaker bit that's going behind it. What we want to do is stick it on top of our cello bag. So I don't know if you can see this cello bag or not, but we're going to stick it on top. Take our tape and we're just going to wrap it like a gift, essentially. So we're going to fold over. Doesn't matter what side. First, you're just going to fold it over and start taping those pieces down.
Okay.
Just give me a timer reminder if I'm starting to talk too much or not go fast enough.
No, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. Everyone's so many people are saying that they're really excited to see some summer projects. I mean, we are now getting into the the Christmas theme, aren't we, from this time of year onwards?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a refreshing change from everything Christmas at the moment to see some summer techniques, because we have summer birthdays, we have summer anniversaries, weddings and births and all sorts going on, and it's a shame to skip past summer and go straight to Christmas.
Exactly. There's a lot of Christmas in July, isn't there? That's coming up. Right.
Absolutely.
If you want this to be a water theme, you could always make your background like a watercolor background. It doesn't need to be foil. I just love shiny, so I want the foil. Now, this is too long and too wide, so I'm just going to trim that. Just grab the big scissors.
Okay.
And I'm going to trim it so I have enough space that I can still fold this over twice. So this is our sealed end.
Right.
So you can see I've got my tape on there. I've done it nice and tight to the card. You don't need any wiggle room. You don't need to account for having space on the other side. So now we've got our bit of card tucked underneath the cello bag. So the cello bag is here and it's not touching the card stock.
Perfect.
So we're going to open it up. Very important. Put your sequins in before your gel, because I didn't do that on my first go. And I had a heck of a time trying to get the sequins in with the gel stuck to the plastic. So we've got our sequins in the bag. I don't know if you can see those too well.
Perfect.
And then I am going to take the hair gel and I'm just going to squeeze it directly in. You don't need much. This is a flat shaker card, so you really don't need much gel in there. Probably about 2 teaspoons would be plenty. So I'm just going to give it a little squidge. So you can see I've got that hair gel. It looks blue, but it does go a bit more clear because you're going to kind of squish it out.
I do like that blue tinge though. If you were going to be putting like fish and things in it as well, maybe some little stamped elements in the background and have like water in front of them.
It's going to look so good, yeah. So I'm just going to work my way through getting this gel to the bottom. And then once we've got the gel kind of mixing with those sequins, then we can squidge the bubbles out. So it just takes a little bit of play, but it kind of feels like it gives you that bit of satisfaction, like when you're playing with bubble wrap and kind of popping it.
I'm very jealous.
Kind of satisfaction. It's like such a cool feeling having all that gel under there. But you just don't need that much gel. I have no idea how these will hold up in the post. That was one of the comments I had. I had a video with this technique come out, and people were asking how it will hold up in the post, and I don't know. But I like to think I'm putting so much tape on the back, it's going nowhere.
Yeah, I think if you secure it well enough, I think you'll be okay. As long as you haven't put too much gel in there, maybe.
Yeah.
Just enough.
It does make it a bit heavier, so you just have to be mindful of that. Right, so I've gone and squished all those sequins around. You can see they're nice and even.
Lovely.
And what I'm going to do now is fold this end over. I haven't got any big air bubbles in there, so I'm not too worried, but you can squish them out really easy. And I'm just going to fold it over once, and then I'm going to fold it over onto my card, and I'm going to tape the daylights out of it to make sure it doesn't move.
Tape the daylights out of it, okay?
Yeah. If you have any gel that's squidging out, just use a cloth and wipe it off. You don't want any gel on this edge here, because otherwise you're going to end up with your tape coming off, because the gel will kind of obviously seep through under it and make it not as sticky. And do make sure when you're using your sequins that you've got just flat sequins. So I like to use a lot of gems and jewels in my shaker cards, but this one you really just want flat shaker elements. Otherwise you're going to end up with issues, and you're going to end up having a very pokey, bumpy card.
Yeah, okay.
So there's our little shaker element. So what we're going to do now is we're going to stick that down on the top so you can see the cool shaker bits through it. This is where I forgot my ultra thin tape, but I'm going to make do with this thin stuff here, I think. What we want to do is you can use liquid glue, but I just find that I worry the liquid glue would kind of spill out a little bit through the little gaps, and you might end up with a bit of a mess rather than it just sticking down. You might end up having some seepage. So I just use tape. I find that's a bit easier. Yeah. And I'm just going to stick it around in sort of all the nooks and crannies and try and get that adhesive on there.
Perfect.
Are there any more comments while I'm adhesing?
There's so many comments, lots of people. Marie says it's such a great technique. Gail says, wow, this is cool. Joan says, I'm loving this. Rena says it's very pretty. Marion said, never thought to use cellophane bags For shaker cards, well, Marion, at the moment, or today, the cello bag, we call them cello bags on site, on craftstash.co.uk, they are actually reduced. So I was just looking. So for example, the 4x4 cello bags, they are now, rather than being £2.99, they're down to £2.49. So you've got discounts across the cello bags. Go and have a look at those, because this is a brilliant technique for shaker cards. Now this is with the gel to give you the summery look, that water theme, but you can also use these just with beads or with glitter inside. I think it's a fantastic way of holding everything together. You already know that 3 of your edges are perfectly sealed. You've only got to worry about sealing that one afterwards. So it is really, and it's, do you know what, it saves on your acetate, because if you think about it, between your cello bags and your acetate, which is the least expensive for you to purchase? It's going to be the cello bags, isn't it? I'd definitely stock up on those today.
You can do nice flat shakers as well. So if you didn't have the gel, you could just make this a little pouch and do the exact same thing without the gel, and you would have a nice, beautiful flat shaker if you're worried about postage or it needs to be flat for wherever you're giving it to. Cello bags are fantastic for that.
Absolutely. I'm just going to pop over to YouTube while you're doing that and read some comments from there. Christine Howard has said she's not had much luck with shakers, so she's definitely going to give this a go. Joanne Talbot has said it would be great for a unicorn card as well. It really would. That would be perfect. Joe...
Very bad feeling.
Sorry,
I was just saying it's really magical feeling with the gel under it.
It is. It really is. I love that. So many people said, "Oh, squishy fun," that sort of thing. Joe Olmer said, "Can you get the cello bags on CraftStash?" Yes, you absolutely can. In fact, if you have signed up for the CraftStash emails, which I highly recommend every week that you do, once you're signed up, you'll get an email once a day in the morning just letting you know about today's offers. And this morning I noticed those cello bags were listed in the products that are discounted on the email. But otherwise, just pop in the word cello, CELLO, on the search bar on CraftStash, and all our different sizes will come up. We've got different sizes, different shapes. Now you're using what looks like a slimline or a DL one there, Sasha. Kathy laughed at the technical term, tape the daylights out of it. Yeah, I'd not heard that before either.
Right,
okay.
I'm ready to do the...
Sorry, I was just going to read this comment very, very quickly, just because it was something you mentioned earlier. This is from another Sasha on YouTube. She says, they do hold up well in the post. She's posted 2 of these and they arrived intact and are still intact 4 months later. So there you go.
Right, so I've gone ahead and I've stuck all that adhesive on the back, and I did check while I was doing all my sticking just to make sure that I only really need it where this little pouch is going to sit. So what we're going to do is turn over our front panel that's got the sticky on it, and we're going to place this one over the back of it so we can make sure that we're lining up over those letters, and then give it a little press, and then you're just going to give a little press on the front and enjoy that squidging while you do it. Yeah. And just press down all those bits to make sure your letters are stuck. Now that that's on, I should have actually had this go a little bit to the left so I can get my foam tape in there. And I've just got some foam tape from my stash, just nice thin foam tape. No CraftStash, I bought some on CraftStash. It was thinner. If you've got foam tape that is not as thick, it's worth doubling up, because you want to make sure that the height of your foam tape at least matches the back of your gel packet. Otherwise it's going to be a bit too squished. Okay. So I'm just going ahead and applying some foam tape. I think this is 5mm wide, I think.
That's probably one of the deeper ones you're going to get, isn't it?
Yeah, so this one's a deep one that I've got. So yeah, so we're going to just stick that foam onto the back, and then we can peel it off and we can pop it onto our layer. I'm just gonna, I can't multitask, I can't take this silly tape stuff off. And because I've got gel nail polish on, it's sticking to the tape more than stick.
You're doing amazingly.
So right over the top and make sure it's nice and centered, and pop that down on there. Then I can go ahead and glue that onto my, excuse me, I'm choking on my own spit.
You need a cocktail, that's what you need in this hot summer weather.
Tonight, The Pims on the ready. We are going for
Yes.
gold. Right. So then I'm just going to stick that down. If you use liquid glue on that base layer, you can squidge it right into the right place. But look at how much, I don't know if you can see it, but it's so fun.
Yeah, I love that. That is amazing. That would be fantastic for birthday invitations, for little girls' birthdays, for adults as well, for, like you said, anything summer themes. I love it.
You know. So we've got that one. You could then go ahead and you could add on some flowers. So I've got this summer one here that I did.
Oh, great.
With some yellows and oranges, and just popped some flower die cuts from that set I showed with you here. And do that. But then you can also go ahead and make yourself a DL size card and do happy birthday and get the whole birthday in there. And you could go ahead and pop those centers back in, but I find it just looks too cool with all that gel underneath.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so there's
I love that.
a few samples.
That
and it's nice and easy, especially if you can steal the measurements from someone.
She's still talking.
Then you can pop that together really quick.
Thank you so much, Sasha. Thank you. We're going to come back to Sasha in just a moment. And so I'm going to do a technique for you. And this is completely different to what Sasha's just done. So Sasha will be back with you in just a few moments for another technique from you, if that's okay. Yeah, all good. There was a bit of a quick change around there for some reason. I've lost the hat. Don't worry, it's still here, but it's a bit warm in here. So I'm going to talk you through another technique because we've got 10% off of MDF blanks at the moment. I want to show you a technique for getting a distressed kind of whitewash look. And while I'm doing this, I can talk you through lots of the other offers that we've got. Please don't forget, be commenting, tagging your friends, sharing this video feed with everybody on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you're watching, because any of you who are commenting are going to be put in the hat, and at the end I'm going to choose 2 people to win a £50 CraftStash voucher each, and then there will be a third way of entering as well at the end, another £50 voucher. So please keep tuned for that. That's a huge prize. You can spend that on anything you want to. What would you spend £50 on if you were shopping over at CraftStash? I can think of lots of things I can spend that on. In fact, I think seller bags is going to go into my basket straight away, and try that technique as soon as I get home this afternoon. Okay, so come on down to my desk. You'll see I've got my hat here. I've got my hat. I've got everything ready. Now, what I'm going to show you is how to use the MDF blanks here to create this effect. Now I'm just very quickly, while I'm just showing you this, I'm going to just come along to my settings, because I just noticed we got a little bit of a jump there and we don't want my camera going in and out of focus, so I'm just changing that for you. There we go. Hopefully that's all settled for you now. So we have got MDF blanks and they come like this. I've got lots of them to show you. In fact, I adore the Daisy May MDF. And as I say, we've got 10% off this. I think nothing gives you a summery theme than natural wood, but I wanted to show you how to get a really quick and easy whitewashed wood look. And this can be done with absolutely any colour. I've used a blue here, but you could use any colour you want to. So I'm going to take this one and transform it, and it really does just take minutes. So we'll do this and then we'll go back to Sasha. All my MDF is falling off my desk, so it's not a good start, is it? So what you do need to do is just pop down a craft mat just to protect your surface. Let's move my snorkel out the way, because clearly I've been snorkeling whilst I've been watching Sasha. And my passport and my hat, they're all here, and my sunglasses. I've got to keep them in though. So I've got my MDF blank. The first thing I'm going to do is bring in my ink. So this is going to be my base colour. It can be absolutely any colour you want it to be. I've then got a little pot of Lipsolve. So that is petroleum jelly. You know the brand, I'm sure you all do. And I've got some white paint. Now I'm using distress paint, but it can just be any white water-based paint. And then of course a paintbrush as well. Okay, so let me show you this technique, because I love this. It's always best when you're doing this to work up and down in strokes if you want that true wood grain look. I'll try and keep an eye on the comments as I'm doing this, but I may have to start replying to some of you once we go back to Sasha. That might be a bit easier. Now with Daisy May MDF, you do get this fantastic lasered edge look. So that's where it's actually being cut in the manufacturing process. I love the look of the burnt wood around the outside. I think it's really fantastic. It just gives you, it can be a vintage look, but for this sort of summery beach theme, it's absolutely perfect. Now we know the country, certainly in the UK at the moment, we've got lots of lovely weather, so I'd love to know from everybody, what are you doing this weekend if the weather stays nice? What are your summery plans for the next few days, or today? Maybe you're off work today, maybe you've got your washing on the line already, you've got that all prepared and you are ready to start enjoying the sunshine. Let us know. So that is the Distress Oxide onto the MDF. Now that will dry reasonably quickly because MDF is really porous. It's going to soak in super quick, but I am going to just whiz it with my heat gun very, very quickly, just to dry it off so I can do this technique for you. If I was at home, I would just leave that for 5 minutes. I'd clean up and I'd come back in a moment, but to speed things up, just pop this on. Hopefully it's not too noisy for you, and just give that a quick dry off there. There we go. So let me just see on the comments. So Rosanna said the sun has finally come out. She's blamed me. Picnic time this weekend and paddling pool for the kids. That sounds absolutely perfect. Now I'm going to take my petroleum jelly. So any sort of barrier, resistant barrier gel. This is one that you usually use on your lips. You probably all know the one, the brand. But I'm just going to put a little bit on my finger. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drag little bits of this and smudge bits, but I'm always working in those lines going across the length of this. It really does depend on which way you want your wood grain to be going. So you can go up and down, but just stick to one direction. So I'm leaving some big blobs on there and some thin streaks, and quite nice and thick if I can. You don't want to be rubbing it into the wood, you just want it to sit on top. This is going to act as a barrier for you, so that with your next layer you can then wipe some off afterwards, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. This is really simple because it's mostly things that a lot of you will have around the house already, and because we've got that discount at the moment on the MDF, you are really going to benefit from that. You can get your 10% off the MDF. And this is from the Daisy May collection. Now Daisy May has got the summer stamping fun discount applied to it. So if you go and have a look on the website at those stamps from Daisy May that are included in that sale, you need to use the code HOT40 to get 40% off of those. The easiest way to find everything is just to go onto the home page. That's craftstash.co.uk or craftstash.us, wherever you're shopping from, and have a look at those banners that are scrolling across the top of the page and click on whichever offer takes your fancy, because that then takes you straight to the products that are relevant. So just going around the edge. Now what I'm doing here is putting a really thick layer just around the edge. I'm just going to bring in a wipe to take that off of my fingers. If I was at home, I'd be rubbing that into my hands to make them nice and soft, but I'm not at home, so I'll be good. I'm just going to also do this, just clean up my mat a little bit, just a touch. Now oxides are so saturated, so you get some really lovely colour there. So the next stage, I'm just going to put my lid on that, is to bring in my white paint. Like I say, I've got distress paint here, but you can use absolutely any water-based paint. Okay, it does have the dauber on the top, as you can see, this one, but I'm going to take the lid off and I'm going to apply it with a paintbrush. This is because I want it to go on really quite loosely. I don't want to be rubbing it in, I want to brush it over the surface as loosely as possible. So plenty, as you can see, plenty on my paintbrush there, and I'm going to start working up in strokes like so. I don't really want this too much to blend into the background. What I'm looking for, hoping for, is for the paint to sit on the surface. So if you overwork this, it's going to blend into that background, and that's not what we're looking for. So very lightly, just brushing, laying the paintbrush over the top and letting the paint sit on top there. Now because this is a water-based paint, this dries very quickly. I am going to give it a quick heat set just to speed things up, but it dries fantastically. So as you can see there, I've just covered it very roughly. I've not rubbed it in at all. It is picking up the blue from the ink underneath, and that's fine. That's expected to happen. That's picket fence, by the way, the one I've used. So just cleaning everything off here, including, there we go, just including my paintbrush. Now, can you see, hopefully on there, oh, clean my fingers a bit as well so I don't get that everywhere. I think I need another wipe. Hopefully you can see we've got the bubbling and the pooling going on there. That's where I put that resist down. Okay, so I love that technique. Now I'm going to bring in my heat gun again, and I'm just going to use this to set that. So it won't take long, and because it's all water based, it will dry quite quickly, but it won't of course dry where the resist is. So just bear with me. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. Wendy Jackson is sat around the pool. That's not fair. I'd love to be around a pool right now. So just taking this and drying this off. Now I might speed this up by going on to the higher setting in just a moment. You can leave this to air dry as well. You don't have to heat set it at all. That's entirely your choice. Obviously, demonstration purposes, I absolutely prefer to heat set this for you, so it's all done very quickly. Now it won't dry where that petroleum jelly is. There we go. Okay. I'm going to give it a whiz on a higher setting, so bear with the noise just a second. There we go. Okay, now I would probably love to dry that even further if I could, but just for speed, because you don't want to watch paint dry, just for speed, I'm going to wipe that now and see what effect we get. Now I'm not going to use a wet wipe. It's really important you don't use a wet wipe for this technique, because what we want to do is not aggravate the water-based liquid. So the paint and the ink is all water based, so if we used a wet wipe, we just basically wipe it all off the MDF. What we want to do is just lift up the surfaces that haven't dried or that haven't stuck together. Okay, so now you can leave it all to dry like that if you love that look. I love the look of the resist there where it's all pooled and bubbled, but I'm just going to drag this down and take off any of the excess there. And I love this look for a weathered wood look, and you can go with any colour underneath as well, any colour you want to. There we go. So we can see now the areas where the gel, the petroleum jelly, I'm just going to get another wipe, where the petroleum jelly was put down in the first place, and that's now resisted. That's those darker areas. Let me clean my hands up. This is messy. Maybe I should have done this technique as the last one. What do you think? Never mind. I've got another technique for you, and so is Sasha. But there we go. So there's how I created that wood effect, that weathered wood effect on the MDF. So as you can see, it started like that and it's finished off like that. Now somewhere around here, and I can't tell you where because I've got sun hats and things in the way, I did have, here it is. Okay, so when it's dry, see, you've got the different looks. So I've then stamped onto it a Daisy May beach scene. Okay, so that's the lighthouse, and Daisy May are included 40% off of Summer Stamping Fun using the code HOT40, and there's so many of Daisy May's fantastic stamp sets in there. Let me just bring a couple in to show you. I want to have a clean up, but I'm not going to do that now too much. I'm just going to bring these stamps in for you and show you a few examples of some of the stamps included in the Stamping Fun sale. So this is the one I use. This is the lighthouse there, because we've got the day at the beach. We've also got what's the other one called? It's gone. It's just gone. Sasha, I don't know if you can help me. The Daisy May collection. Village Green. That's what I'm thinking of. I didn't need her help in the end. We've got Punch and Judy there as well. We've got the Ice Cream Shack there. We've got Messing About in Boat. I use that a lot. Can you see that? This is one of my personal favourites as well. The Mobile Home. These are all included. Gone Fishing as well in that stamping sale, 40% off. So go and have a look at those. There's lots there, including, of course, paper packs, stencils, things like that. So 10% off the MDF. You've got 40% off of the stamping. So there's lots and lots for you to be getting to grips with for stamping and for doing techniques on your MDF. Now, I just want to tell you about one more thing to bear in mind before we go back to Sasha and see another technique from her. Have you seen on our website, if you're spending over £40, you can then choose to split the cost over 3 payments, completely interest free. So there's no credit check required. It's an instant decision for you, and it just helps you to spread the cost of those larger items. Now, we've had that in play for a little while, and I know many of you have been taking advantage of it, because actually the £40 is quite a low amount when you think about stocking up on your CraftStash. But we've got some amazing deals for you. We've got 2 new Cricut machines, and this is the perfect chance for you to be purchasing those bigger items like the new Cricut machines when you're spreading the cost over 3 payments. So the Cricut Explore and the Cricut Maker, both the number 3s, are now available. They are brand new. They have been so popular, they've been flying. If you're even considering one of these, get in quick, because I don't know how long the stocks are going to last. But then using that ClearPay, you can then spread those costs over 3 months, and like I say, completely interest free. So it's well worth you having a look at that, because that's certainly the way that I would be purchasing those bigger items, so that I've got more each month to buy my essentials as well. Hopefully Sasha's ready, so we can go back to her and see another fun summer technique. Sasha, what do you have for us this time?
So I thought I'd give you a view of Vellum, and kind of give you a few ideas of what you can do with it. So this is just standard Vellum. No pattern, no nothing, but you can purchase pattern Vellum, which is really exciting.
Yes.
But most Vellum you would see comes plain. However, I know CraftStash, because I went and looked last night, because I was using so much Vellum. I was like, oh, maybe I should get some more. And CraftStash have got loads of pattern Vellum, which is really fun, and I happen to be using a bit of pattern Vellum today. So you can get cool pattern Vellum, which has got designs already on it for you, which is really fun.
Great.
So I'll do a little technique with that one. Vellum can be used, you can color it in, you can emboss on it. So I've heat embossed gold, colored it from the backside with alcohol markers, and made a couple cards. So you can do that kind of technique with some Vellum. You can use Vellum behind your sentiments and behind your image to kind of break up the busyness of the pattern on your card, which is really helpful. Lovely. You can also use it behind words, again, to kind of make your sentiment or your word pop off the back. You can use Vellum. What I find if I do something like this is if I take adhesive sheets, like full double-sided adhesive sheets, and just cover my Vellum with a full sheet of adhesive, I don't have to worry about the glue showing through, because the whole thing is sticky. So that's my little trick that I do with Vellum when I want to stick it down. Then you can also print on Vellum. So you could print out, these are all from the magazine website, I can't remember, onto Vellum, and create a pattern. So you could have a paper, a piece of Vellum like this, and you could print something over top of it, and you'd have the white and the colored. But it's quite funny, quite fun, not funny, and versatile. So Vellum is quite a fun thing to have in your craft room. Oh, I'm losing my words now. Right. So I thought we'd do a sea-themed shaker, and what I'm going to do is just do the card front with you, because then you just pop that onto a card base. So what I've done is I've got some of this paper here. This was actually from a Papercraft Society box that I had, and I had a bunch of leftover bits, and so I thought I would use that today, because that kind of ties in with the beach and the summer. So I've gone and cut a little piece of this. This was an A5, and I've cut it down to A6. I also cut the A5 Vellum down to A6. And then I went and got my creative nestable dies in the rectangles, and just found one that kind of fit inside, just inside of my paper, my pattern paper. And then found one that was too big than that, so I could create myself a nice frame. You want to have a frame when you're doing shaker cards usually, unless you're using something like the cello bags, because that gives you an opportunity to hide your foam tape to make that dimension pop. So I made myself a little sequin mix again. I actually had some butterflies and seashells and mermaids in my stash. So I put seashells and mermaids in there,
Oh, wow.
along with a bunch of sequins, kind of match the color. So I thought that'd be fun. And this one, I like to pack it out. So because I've got such a nice big work surface, I have really got quite a lot of sequins in there. So I've gone and stuck down some sticky adhesive. So I've just lined the back of it with some double-sided tape. And I probably, in hindsight, should have just used the wider stuff. But I stuck down the thin stuff, so hopefully it'll still all stick down nicely, because these pieces are smaller than my frame, just a bit smaller. So I'm going to remove that adhesive from the outside. Now you can use liquid if you like, but again, for speed and for the sake of not having glue squidge out everywhere, I'm just going to use my double-sided tape. And these are so quick and easy to do. It really does not take long to make a shaker. So I'm going to take my vellum, I'm going to stick it down onto my little rectangle frame. So stick that on there. So now you can see we've got a vellum window on the back of that frame. Now we want to build it up so that we can fill it with shaker bits. So again, you're going to want to take some foam tape. If you only have foam squares, you might just be sat there for longer sticking them on, but they will work. Just anything foam. You could go ahead and, if you've got fun foam, like if you raid your children's stash, you could find some fun foam, and you could then go ahead and die cut your frame again, like this one here, out of fun foam, and that would kind of give you your frame ready to go. Great idea. That you can stick down. Sometimes I find my foam stretches and then it doesn't give me the best little shape, because it'll stretch a bit and then I have to kind of trim it down to fit it on the back. Yeah. So I think foam tape is probably just the easiest way forward. So I'm just going to go ahead and line the back of that. And snip that there. Then we can add our shaker elements in. Just sprinkle those all in. Oh, that's a bit too many. I got a bit too keen.
You got quite excited there.
Go on. I did get very excited. I was like, ooh, seashells and mermaids, and just chucked them all in. Right, so spread that out a little bit. I love to have a back to put on. So a lot of people, if you were to do this the reverse way, what you would need to do, if these two outside edges were the same size, you would need to put your shaker bits on top of this panel and then place your panel over top. Yes. I like to do a small panel that's going to go on the back because I always go wonky if I do it that other way around. Fair enough. So I put my shaker bits inside my foam tape, and then that way I can take my panel, which I know is smaller than my outside rectangle, and I can just aim for the middle this direction. So I'm going to pop that on there. And you can see I've got foam tape sticking out. It's totally a hot mess on the back, but from the front, it looks well cool. So now what I would do, if I had remembered or was more prepared, I would have a card base handy. I would stick it onto my card base at this point, but I went ahead and stamped this out. This is a Daisy May stamp, I think. Oh no, this is a stamp that came from the same set. I stamped it all out now, I remember. So I took my Papercraft Society and I just stamped all the stamps in one go. Oh wow. And then I just kind of chopped and die cut it with one of my nestables there. And then I had a couple of the critters from that set, so I thought I would use those as well. And we just decorate them along the bottom. You could put some seaweed in there and have your little sentiment, and you've got a really cute little shaker card ready to go. No time at all. And that vellum that's got a pattern on it is so cool because it, again, adds to more character to your card.
Absolutely. That's that. Amazing. Thank you. So we've got Paper Discovery vellum at the moment. That would work so well. Have you seen that, Sasha? That's got all the seashells and the waves and everything included in it.
Exactly. That would be the sort of sea-themed sentiments, which would work really well with a sort of birthday that's in the summer. So there's loads to do, but I just love the pattern vellum. It's really fun and different to work with.
It's brilliant. Lovely. Thank you ever so much for that. I'm going to come back with you in a moment and just say a goodbye. So I'm just going to do my technique and then we'll come back if that's okay. And hopefully see your lovely face. So no pressure there. Put it back on your face, Sasha. So yes, I am going to show you one more technique, but I need to tell you we have got the vellums in stock. the paper discovery vellums that I was talking about over at CraftStash, and they are amazing. And you know what, one thing I was talking to Olga about a while ago when she came over to the UK and we were chatting, and she had lots of her under the water themed vellums that we were crafting with, and she said that they've been designed to hold glue but not show the glue, which is unlike any vellum I've come across before. Usually the glue shows through, like any sort of transparent material like that, but they've been specially designed so that they don't show those glues through. They've got a slight colour to some of them. There's greens, there's blues, and then there's the whites and the clears as well. So go and take a look at those over at CraftStash, because they are beautiful and they're going to be absolutely perfect for all your summer themes. Now come on back down to my desk, because I've got one more summery theme technique to show you, and that's with my absolute favourite, and that's with watercolours. But it's with watercolours, hopefully with items that you've already got at home if you've been crafting a little while. I'm going to show you two. So I'm going to use my CraftStash Essentials blending mat here. You can see I use it a lot. It's a little bit mucky. And I have got my watercolour paper. Now my favourite watercolour paper, if you're going to start having a little delve into using watercolours and things with your inks and whatever it may be, this is my favourite pad to use, and it's the Gold Line one. There's 100 sheets, it's a huge block, and they are 200 GSM, which is a really good weight for watercolour, okay? It's cold pressed too. Cold press means you get the texture to it. If you're not sure what hot press, cold press means, basically cold press, you'll have a first one being with my inks. Now you may have seen this before, you may not have, but I just want to show you for anyone who's not seen it before. It's such an easy way to get a brilliant background for your summery projects. I'm using oxides, but you can use inks as well. They don't have to be distress either. This can be with your cat's eyes, your mementos, things like that. Whatever it may be, as long as the ink mixes well with water, so stays on, for example, isn't going to work so well. So I'm going to take this blue colour and just dab it. I don't need a lot of this, to be honest, because it's an oxide. You can see how strong and how opaque that is. And then so that's called Salty Ocean, and then I've got this one, Scattered Straw, that I'm just going to put down the bottom. Now with each of these, I'm going to bring in water. Hopefully you've all got water at home, and I'm going to give these a spritz. Look how beautifully vibrant those colours are. And then the easiest thing in the world to do is just to dab and do a little bit of a twist if you can. Now, trick with using the CraftStash blending mat is that you can flip them over and they're clear, so now we can see what we're doing and we can move these inks around. So we can leave them like that if we want to and just lift that up, or we can blend these two together. If you want a real ombre look, you can blend these until you start to get the green in the middle. Can you see that green starting to appear? So as this is squelching towards the edges there, that is going to be perfect. Now I would press that into the paper for a minute or two, spreading and playing with the colours, because when you lift this off, you're going to lift some of the ink off with it. Can you see that? That's the excess. The longer you leave the plastic, and it doesn't have to be a blending mat, you can use cello bags again for this if you want to. The longer you leave it on the paper, the more colour is going to get soaked in. But let's just lift that up. And then I always take a tissue or a wipe and I just blot the bottom there, because the darker colour will be at the bottom. And then we've got a beautiful watercolour effect that you can use with your stamps. You can now stamp over, and like I say, just whether it's distress inks or whether it's some other sort of ink, maybe it's like I say, mementos, I don't know, for example. Any will work as long as they are water based. Now let's start again with some different colours. I've got my Tombow pens, and I'm really going to do very, very similar here again. So I'm going to scribble. Okay, I've got 4 different colours, and I've got nice bright summery colours. These are a little bit different to the blues and yellows. So I've got the pinks, and I've got a turquoise in there as well. And I'm going to do exactly the same. Again, because it's water-based, we can create beautiful backgrounds. So a little squirt to each of these. In fact, there's a couple of squirts to each. I'm going to pop this paper on top, and then let's flip it over, and we can now flip it over and we can mix as much or as little as we want to. Look at that, isn't that just beautiful? I love seeing those mixed together. And you don't have to do the perfect 4 quarters if you don't want to. You can really do it very, very random if you want to. So look, whoop, there we go. And again, just dab away at the edges there where the excess ink always seems to cluster. And there's another technique. So for summer, I think these techniques are absolutely perfect. But alternatively, if you are in the full swing of winter and Christmas at the moment, then you can still do this, but with your Christmassy colours if you want to. Now, I've got a couple more things to run through before we just announce winners and before we go back and say a goodbye to Sasha and a thank you to Sasha. Hang on a minute, I need to do this. There we go, back to the beginning now. So we've shown you 4 techniques for creating summer feel, summer theme on your cards, okay? Now, if you want lots of other tips and inspiration, have you joined Craft World yet? Because it is jam-packed with ideas like this. Every day there's new things being uploaded onto the site. By ourselves, of course, we do actually commission people to do work for you, to give you inspiration, projects and ideas, but also the members are always uploading things too. But have you thought about becoming a premium member? Because this is an amazing offer for you. At the moment, premium membership is £20 for the year. That works out at something silly like 38p a week, okay, to be a premium member. You're going to get free digital downloads every week. You're going to get access to your favourite magazines online to read. You're also going to get exclusive competitions and offers and things like that as well, and exclusive content that no one else can see except premium members. But besides all of that, if you're signing up to premium membership at the moment, like I say, £20 for the whole year, you're going to get a free gift worth £20. So you're basically signing up for nothing, and there are a few choices of free gift you can choose when you sign up, so go and check that out. You're basically getting a free gift for £20 and you've got your premium membership as well. There's other ways of wording that, I'm sure, that are better than that. That is such an amazing offer. I know Sasha, she's on Craft World as well. Sorry, Sasha, doesn't apply to you. Too late. But you know, I would definitely be there if I could. Don't forget as well, we've got that clear pay offer. So if you're spending over £40, you're going to be able to split your payments across 3 months, interest-free, no credit check required. That is amazing for those brand new Cricut machines, but also if you're spending over £35, you're going to get your stationery box worth $14.99. So if you're thinking, right, I want my stationery box, so I'm putting £35 worth of product into my basket, easy done with everything we've shown you today, just top that up by another £5, you'll get your stationery box, and then you can split those payments over the 3 months as well. So do you know what, there's so many offers over at CraftStash. There's so many ways to help you when you're purchasing all of your craft items, spread the cost, make things easy, and so many free gifts and amazing deals as well. Now, Sasha, I'm just going to come to you because I would like, if it's okay, to announce some winners. And could you just give us a little clap? Just give the, you know, because I didn't get time to send you the names, so I've got the names now. So if you don't mind just doing a little woohoo clap for these 2 people. So these 2, hey, that's it, that's all we need. These 2 are going to get a £50 CraftStash voucher each, or voucher code to use on CraftStash each. Okay, and I'd love to hear from you both afterwards. What will you spend yours on? So the first person chosen at random from the comments on YouTube is Aquarius Crafts. Congratulations to you. Woo! There you go, Sasha's off. And on Facebook, we have, I did read out one of your comments actually, we have Marie Flavel. I believe that's how you say it. Congratulations, Marie. Thank you, Sasha. So both of you winners, just send us a message, CraftStash Customer Services or the Facebook page, and we will get those codes out to you. I was going to say details. Get your details to us, we'll get the code out to you. And Sasha, I have to do a big thank you to you as well. Your projects are amazing, the techniques we've learnt so much from, of course. Hopefully you'll be back with us again soon for another live and for more inspiration. What are your plans for the weekend?
So I have another live tomorrow night on a Facebook group. So I'm going to leave all this junk in my kitchen so I can do that. And then we're going to go see friends because we can now go inside people's houses. So we're going to go to a friend's for a barbecue, which is exciting.
Lovely.
And we'll play lots of Nintendo Switch games and get the paddling pool out, I think. So
Amazing.
yeah, it'll be good. I wanted to say one thing as well, because you were doing your little technique, and I just wanted to say that, because I've done one as well. If you've not got the little thingy you've got on your desk from CraftStash, cello bags do the same technique you did in your last technique. So I've always used a cello bag to blend colors. So that's another great way to make the most of those sales on those. They're really handy.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. No, it's great to have a last top tip from you. Thank you so much. Hopefully, Sasha, will see you again really soon over on CraftStash. So take care and have a lovely weekend.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye. And I hope all of you also have a lovely weekend. So we've hopefully given you lots of summer ideas. Don't forget, we've got a massive up to 65% off summer sale, and that includes 40% off of some of these Daisy May summertime stamps. We've got 10% off of the MDF as well. If you're struggling to find anything, simply type it in the search bar. Many of these items are already discounted, but the stamping elements from Daisy May, you need the code HOT40 to apply to those. Go and check that out. The Vellum as well from Paper Discovery Vellum is absolutely my favourite up there. We've also got, of course, the cello bags. We've always got them in stock. They're a craft essential. So have some fun with the new techniques. I'd love to see what you've done over on Craft World. And I'll be back next week. Okay, next week's guest is super special as well. We have got Pete Hughes from Sizzix. We have amazing demonstrations from him every time. So I cannot wait to see you then. 12:30 on Friday. And of course, on Tuesday, I'll be with you 11 a.m. for What's Hot. Have a fantastic, hopefully warm weekend, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.